All right, here I am looking at a book of hours, and one of the things that I want to do is figure out what the calendar says. So for now, I'm going to ignore all of the various images except for the bottom. And I know from my reading that a lot of calendars showed the labor of the month, and November is traditionally gathering acorns for pigs. Well, he's under a tree, and those look like some kind of animal, so I'm willing to guess that that is indeed gathering acorns for pigs. So, let's see if I can figure out where what month it is. Usually in a two-page calendar spread, the calendar is going to begin right here where you see my mouse. So it's always going to begin on the right. And at the top of the page is where I'll find the month. So I see this that says KL, Calends. So these are all the columns that I've read about. And usually the very first thing that you see is going to say the month, the number of days, and the number of nights. And in this case, it looks like Nouembre, and I'm willing to guess that that is November, knowing that a U can also be like a V. And November has 30 days, and it doesn't tell us what the nights are here. So now I'm going to see if I can recognize any of these names. And since this is a French book, it may or may not correspond with some of the hypertext. But I'm going to come over and take a look at the hypertext book of hours and move down to actually the table of contents, since I know that this is November, and I'm going to see if it is. So I'm going to click on November. November has 30 days, so I'm right there, and I'd be looking for the Feast of All Saints, the commemoration of All Souls, the dedication of the Church of Saint Savior, Saint Martin. So the very last one is Saint Andrew, Apostle. So let's see what, those are other calendars I had up, and I think I may have just lost this. So let me pause this and find my image again. All right, here I am again. And so I know that I don't have all the way at the bottom, so I can't look for Andrew, but I can look Les Toussaints. So going back to my hypertext books of hours, that's All Saints. So then let's see, Saint Hubert, Hubert. Let's see if he's on the hypertext book of hours. He's not there, so I'm going to come over to my online calendar of saints' days. I'm going to enter the calendar, and since I'm looking at November, I'm just going to look at the start. So All Souls, and the next one is Hubert, and lo and behold, Hubert, Bishop of Liège, although it would be Hubert. And since this is a French book, I would be much more likely to find French. So Saint D-E-X, D-E-C. So let's go ahead and take a look at the online calendar of saints' days for the next day. And I don't see anything that might work there, although there's Felix that might work on the day after. Saint Herculin, H-E-R-C-U-L-A-I-N. Herculin. So let's keep going. And Herculanus, Bishop and Martyr, November 6th. So, and each time I find a match, I'd write it down. T-H-E-N-A-R-T? So I know I want to go down to November 7, and I don't see anything that might work. And of course, you're not going to find every match because each book is locally made. Saint Mathurin. So let's see if we've got a match there. And we're down a little bit. And Maturinus, priest and confessor. Notice how many of these books have got Paris as the people in their saints in this calendar. I'm willing to bet one of the things that I might suggest is that this book was made for somebody in Paris or from around that area, because all of these local people are from Paris. Let's see what we've got. Saint Martin, M-A-R-T-I-N. So let's look over here and keep going down. And Martin, Pope and Martyr, very common. Saint Leon, L-E-O-N, Saint Lion, Leo. So let's keep going. And, well, Leonius, confessor. And look, he's a local Paris guy. So basically, these are the things that I would be writing down on my analysis. If I knew more about it, I'd make sure that I had the date. That CA means circa, or around. And I'd put the MS 013. And I'd like to know where it came from. So I'll go back to my image, and this is from the Choyant collection. And it will tell me, I can go digging and find out where it's from. This is a Book of Hours use. That one's a Book of Hours use of Metz. Let's see, there are some others. Let's see if I can find the one. There we go. The Catherine de Medici Hours, Book of Hours, use of Paris, preceded by a calendar. Woo-hoo. I told you it was from someplace around Paris. And Catherine de Medici, by the way, was the Queen of France. But you wouldn't need to know that. So that basically is what I would be doing if I were checking out a Book of Hours. Let's look at other collections, and the fact that this begins a prayer, and that this suggests to me that this is going to be December, the end of December. So let's view the original image to make it a little larger. And so let's go ahead and go first to the hypertext Book of Hours and go on to December. And what is our last thing? Saint Sylvester. And my cat has just knocked everything off the table. Let's see, where did I put it? And Saint Fenestre, no, but there's Sylvester. Here's Innocent. Let's take a look at the Holy Innocents. There we go. Let's see. Let's see, I'd be looking for, hard to see. Let's see the online calendar of Saints' days and see if we can go on to December, because from the text this looks French. So, and we're looking at the bottom. And so Sylvester Sabianus, Bishop of Sens. Fenestix, that doesn't look like it's right. So let's, however, one of the things that we could look for would be Holy Innocents, John Apostle, Perpetuous. Let's see if we can see any of these names. Saint Thomas, Innocents, Tehan above it. Let's see if that would be above the Holy Innocents, John Apostle. There we go. So we're pretty sure that this is January. Let's keep going above John. and see what we find. John, something, and les vieux. Oy, if I can't read it, I'm not expecting you to. There is St. Thomas and St. Severin, so let us look for going up to about the 15th. Well, there's Severinus, martyr, and Thomas just below him. So you can, you pick out the names you recognize and you don't worry about the ones that just look, you're looking at them like this, and if you haven't had paleography, you're looking at it saying, okay, what the heck is that? Of course, this is hard because it's in a French script. Let's see if we can find one that's in a Latin script, and this is very, very small, and so it's hard to see, but it looks like Juni has 30 days, and La Lune has 31, so it has 30 days and 31 moons. So let's go to June, and so list of months, and let's go to June and see what we see. All right, Saint Valen. Okay, do we have anything like that on the 1st? Maianus, Jovinus, Ronanus, no, we really don't. Actually, I know what a couple of these are, but I'm trying to show you how you can figure it out. Egyptian, and so here we have, I would say something Mary Magdalene Egyptian, but again, I'm not seeing it here. Let's see if we can go to the hypertext book of ours, table of contents, and let's go to June. And Marcellinus, that's not giving us any help at all. This one we may be looking at as a no-go. However, Ambrofese, Saint Ambrose. Let's take a look. Ambrose is pretty common. Boniface, Aldrich, Bertrand, I wonder if it is June. Hypertext books of ours, William Primus. Yeah, I'm wondering if this really is June or if it might be something else. So, you run into a page like this, and it's either very unusual or else you've got the calendar wrong. Let's take a look, and, if it were July, it would have 31 days. But let's go ahead and take a look at July just in case to see if we can find what we've got. Nope, I'm not seeing anything offhand that would be useful, and the same thing is true for here on to July. And so I would say that this one is likely one that you're not going to be able to tell anything about, so you close it and you keep going on. So basically that's how you do the exercise.